Thank you for your patience and welcome to this morning's webinar. As I was sharing, the world feels very different. Like many of you, I'm juggling new circumstances due to the coronavirus pandemic. I'm working from home and managing a remote team. I'm sure many of you have a similar situation. This webinar series has come based on our way of being connected. Whilst the word social distancing has been used, to me, I look at it as physical distancing. But we're still presented with a great opportunity to stay socially connected with like-minded and like-hearted friends and individuals like yourself. Our goal with these webinars is to inspire you during these times, as well as have a positive energy exchange. I understand, obviously, people are stressed, anxious about the uncertain future, but the most important thing is we need to remain calm and positive while living in the self-containment at home and ensuring, top hygienic standards. Today, we're presented with two great speakers who are going to share their insights on what we can do and how best we can use our time as leaders. And I'm going to invite, the format for today is Brigadier Sushil would speak for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then I'm going to invite you to share your questions on the chat. And as he completes his session, I would then select some of the questions and then, share those questions and unmute those individuals, for that Q&A between the two of them at that time. We then invite Harish Mehta to speak, and then there'll be a Q&A. So all of us will be on mute during the session. And then for the Q&A session, please note down your questions on the right-hand side during the chat. I'll be happy to interact with you there. So we'll get started, and we welcome Brigadier Sushil to share his insights and what we can do in today's challenging times. Over to you, Brigadier.
Thank you very much, Gautam. I'm very, very honored to be here on this platform. And thank you all for being here on this Sunday morning. I'm very conscious that I have 1,800 of the 3,600 seconds that we have all chosen to invest in ourselves today. I am highly committed to ensure that I give you the value of 1,800 seconds so that you get a high return on this investment. I will do so by sharing some of my insights, followed by question answers, which will lead to an interaction. And at the end of it, I'm sure that we would all have our own customized tips. And tips are time investment protocols. I will also at the end give you a gift of 50 tips, 50 time investment protocols that you can use. A PDF will be there in the chat box immediately after my talk. Now, without going into the seriousness of the corona pandemic that is very well known to everyone, we need to neither panic nor be very complacent about it. What we need to do is to embrace the reality. And the reality looks something like this. The reality is...
Brigadier, your screen is, in terms of visually, you're not, there.
Okay, so sorry. Okay, yeah. The reality is that firstly, none of us knew, certainly not by the beginning of the year, we didn't know what was coming in. But why to talk of that? Even last Monday, you didn't know that you're going to have a Sunday like this. We are in an environment which has been unprecedented, it was unpredictable, and it is unplanned. And it has given us absolutely a VUCA D3 situation, which is volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. It's also amplified by the digital disruptive and age, which is causing us this confusion. While we are talking about the problems, let us also look at this wonderful opportunity to turn this adversity into something to our advantage. And that is what we will aim to do today. We also know that this is an uncertain period. We don't know how long it's going to last, whether it's going to be a few weeks, a few months. We really have no idea of how much time it is going to take for us to come back. But we are also quite clear that the world that will emerge after Corona will not be the same world that we had earlier. I'm sure you will have now a reference of saying that in the pre-Corona period, we used to do this. It'll be a prehistoric era that you have just left behind. So now let us come back to today's challenge. Challenge is we are sitting at home, unplanned, and we are working from home. For many of us, working from home would have been a practice. We would have been doing it earlier. But for everyone, there's a change, whether you have been used to working from home or not. And the change is, if you were working from home, other people in your house, maybe your child was in school, maybe your spouse was at office and you were working from home. Also, when you were working from home, your teams were in the office together. Your clients were there in their place. But today the environment is that while you are at home, everyone else is also at home, and also your team is dissipated into their own homes one at a time. So whatever we used to talk about virtual teams are now virtually also segregated into singles, and therefore the team has acquired a new dimension. With all this, let me start by saying, let's come to a very, very practical thing of what do we do now. And my focus is going to be only on how to manage your time in this particular environment. We don't know how long it is going to be, but we certainly know that it will be at least 1 week. So let's start with 1 week. How do we plan our 1 week? And 1 week now will be, when you go to office, it is 8 hours. But today your day will be something like 15 to 18 hours, depending on how many hours you sleep. So you are going to manage, let's say on an average 16 hours per day, and let's plan for 7 days. So we got 112 hours to plan. How do we do that? So some of my suggestions are, firstly, write your goals. Hold on. How can you write your goals? You don't know. If you wrote your goals in the beginning of the year, those goals are already invalid. So therefore, if you have made goals, you have to revisit them. And if you have to start writing your goals, before you get down to that, let's start with an exercise, and you could do it with your pen and paper as we go along. Make a wish list of all that you wanted to do or plan to do or is lying in your pending tray. Please write down those on an Excel sheet. If one row, let's say A row is all items, in the B row, write what category they belong to. Is it a work related? Is it family related? Is it your self-development related? Is it related to your hobbies? Is it related to your family and friends? Write down all these categories. Now put that list away for a minute and relook at your life and say, is there something that you needed to give more importance to? Have you been neglecting your family? Have you been neglecting your work? Have you had certain things in your mind, in your hobby, you wanted to do something which you couldn't do? Time now to just list them down and make a little idea of your priorities. Close your eyes and put down a percentage that I will spend so much of time. Let's say I'll spend 15% time on my family, 10% time on my friends, 50% time on my work, whatever. That is up to you. It's totally personal. Once you have done that, now please sort out that list work-wise and you go category-wise, and you got your work-related wish list. Allot that time. 50%, for example, would mean 62 hours. And now see how you are going to allot 62 hours in the priority. And a little while from now, I'll tell you how to work those priorities. So this is one way of setting your goals and allotting your time so that you have a balanced life. Let me pull out a slide and show you. Okay. I hope you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Now this is a list I'm talking about, and I will tell you that once you, sorry, I'm going to come to this list later. Sorry for this. I want to talk to you about your priorities. Now, whatever tasks you had in that list, first see how many of them can you eliminate. How many of them are not really relevant and you are doing it for the heck of it. The next one is to automate. If you can't eliminate, can you automate? Can you have a standing instruction? Can you use an app? Can you have some, some process to take over? If you can't do that, delegate. Find somebody else who can do it for you. The problem with delegation is difficult to let go. So learn how to let go and let other people handle some of your routine stuff. Now, what is left you have to do, and ask yourself a question. Do I do it now and concentrate on it, or do I leave it for future? Now, this funnel is by Rory Vaden, and he is a TEDx popular speaker on procrastinate on purpose. And look at what he says. He says, what you think can wait, put it into a waiting list and put it back into tasks and let it go over that filter again. Okay, so this is the way we can prioritize and fit into those tasks which we have made for 1 week. Okay, I'll come to this later. So I was telling you about the balance that I have to maintain. I have got lots of things to do, a long list, and I can't do all of it. Even when we have all this time today, we still find that we are not able to handle everything. So I'm trying to pull out another slide, which is important. Just give me a minute. Yeah. My apologies for this slide going into a long sequence. Yeah, okay. So here's the slide I wanted to show you. Sorry, yeah. Okay. Now, I have to balance my life. And the balance is that on one hand, in a day, I have 24 hours. And on the other hand, I have my family, my friends, my work, my hobbies, my self-development. How much time can I spend in this lockout period to make this happen? Now let me take you back to the first slide I was showing you, and let me my apologies for this little flap on the technology that is challenging a little time for me. Okay, let's get back to that sheet where why am I not getting it? Just 1 second. Okay. Now, this is something which I have worked on my own, designed it, and learned it from people, but modified it the way it works for me is to make a weekly calendar with half-an-hour slots. So you have half-an-hour slots, put on your days of the week, and write down in those color codes. So for me, for example, yellow is my personal time, my exercise. Blue is my self-development. And light blue are your routine things like your breakfast, your lunch, and all that. So the areas which you have earmarked, like I've earmarked family time for 1.5 hours from 6:30 to 8. Now that is the time I've earmarked. So I'll not put any tasks there. Green are my official professional jobs which I put around. And one of the very important things, there are two rules to follow. One of them is you can't put two items in the same cell. And the second one is keep a lot of white spaces. These white spaces are to cater for the unforeseen, the way you are driven by people and all that. So you are driven by people in the sense you'll get a phone call from a client who takes priority over anything else that you had planned. So that is the way we look at that. Okay. Now I'm coming to the next part, and that is about compounding of time. You are responsible to yourself for certain amount of time that you want to do productivity in. I've asked some people in my workshops in corporates, how many hours do you have in a day? And an MD would reply, I am accountable for 8 hours, 12 hours, 10 hours, whatever. And then I ask them, how many employees do you have in your company? He says 1,000. And my answer is, are you not responsible for 8,000 hours in a day? Today you're sitting at home. My question is, you will be managing your work, but your people are sitting at home. How will you manage their productivity? And then there are ways of doing it. Inspiring them, teaching them productivity, keeping a little check on them, connecting with them. Even if you're working from home, can you two to three times either send them a message or call them up and check how they are? And that will give you a very, very good way of connecting with them. So these are some of the things that I wanted to talk about. And I'll be very happy to have more questions coming in, because that is where we are going to do more discussion. So I would like to ask you if you have any questions related to your work environment right now, and how do you think we can all collectively help each other in finding out our answers. Thank you, and I will give you the link in the chat box of the 50 time investment protocols. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Brigadier Sushil. So you can share the link that you have for everyone. You can share that in the chat so those who want to access that can access that. Encourage each of you, if you have any questions, to share that on the chat. I'll start with one which is from Neetu Marwa, which says, life never comes with a manual. So can goal setting, time management really help me in the current situation? I guess you've covered that, but you might want to elaborate on that point as she's asked that question.
Okay, so can we have that person unmute and be on? I want to see who that person is. It gives you a good idea that you can interact.
Sure, I've unmuted Neetu. You can go ahead.
Yeah, Neetu. Okay. Yeah. So Neetu, what you say is right. We set our goals. Like I just said, you could not have set goals for this Sunday the way they are right now. So that is why even in my sheet, you saw what I talked of white spaces. You have to be flexible. You have to review. See, today, the time management has become so different than what it was earlier. From my army point of view, I say you are firing on a static target from a static place. Now you're firing on moving targets while you are moving yourself. Okay, so therefore your time management is on the fly. And every time you have to come out with innovative ways of managing it there and then. So that is where goal setting is handrail. It gives you a framework. It gives you a guide, but it is not a handcuff. So people who are treating goal setting as handcuffs get stuck. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So, Brigadier, a lot of people have been asking for that that slide you had with the sheet whereby you shared your plan for the week. I think it's a great template, and want to confirm you'd be happy to share a blank template.
Yes, I will share if you want the entire PPT, or anyone. What I'll do is I will share this slide or the PPT on the email that you will get after this seminar. Webinar.
Send a blank format as well as your sample, so it gives them a guideline as well as everyone can customize it for themselves, you know.
Yeah, okay. I would just want to say that I've been doing it and using it. It works very well, and my Students who have done my goal setting workshops and productivity workshops have found it very useful. So yes, it is a practical way of doing it.
Okay, great. We have another question from Supriya saying, how do we manage our work which needs physical time together? Like our company is into animation, we need to normally create together, etc. So what suggestions do you have for companies where their business is dependent on physical interaction?
See, there was a time when we could not imagine anything happening online. I still remember about 15, 20 years back, there was a girl going from Jalandhar to England, and they used to run a boutique in Jalandhar. And I told her, why don't you go there and get orders from people, select, show them picture. No, that time there was not so much of advancement of WhatsApp and all. The answer I was getting was that no woman would ever buy a garment without feeling the fabric. The point I'm trying to make is that everything that looks difficult to do without physical meeting each other has started happening. And today evening, I'm going to have a party at 8 o'clock on Zoom. So please come and join me with your drink at 8 o'clock. We'll have a party. We can do all sorts of things. So we'll have to find ways. And if we can't, then that much of restricted work, even like government is saying, manufacturing will not stop. Yeah, manufacturing can't be done from home. So some of those things will have to be done. We have to see how best we can use this time and innovate. We'll have to invent our own ways. So just look at those answers. There's no ready-made answer for that.
Thank you, Sushil. Another question was relating to daily updates from our team. Are there any suggestions or templates that you have to ensure accountability of deliverables? So for the same,
okay, so one very simple one which I use, and it's not complex at all, is fix up timings when people you must all be having your WhatsApp group of your team. So tell them that I want a progress report at 12 o'clock, at 4 o'clock, at 6 o'clock, whatever. Have 2, 3, 4 times when people just give you an intro and say, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. Okay. I've also worked with my team, and my team is very small. I've also said that the moment you do finish a job, just say done. So that it is a real-time report. So whenever I go to my group, I can check what all has been done and what is still left.
I think another great question from Jamani, it's asking, like, when we are surrounded with family, when disturbance, we have family around, how do we ensure productivity with family around and have that conversation at home? I'd say, to elaborate more on it,
So this is going to be a life challenge for all of us. And I don't think I can refer to you a person who is the best person to help you in this. Who's this person? Can I please see her? Jamani. Okay. Anyway, doesn't matter. So I can refer you, Jamani, to a person who can help you develop this habit, and that person you can see in your mirror. How can anyone else tell you how to concentrate and how to get out of that distraction? So you have to discipline yourself. I personally feel what I've done at home is come to terms with your family. When you are working, your child may come running and say, I want to, he may want to sit in your laps. Like my daughter was about 9 months old when I was appearing for staff college, and she used to do that. And you have to find ways of finding time for the child. You will have to have breaks for the child, fine. But you will have to keep yourself disciplined and come in terms with the family that this is my work time, please leave me alone.
I'd like to just elaborate a little bit on that, just for my personal experience. So for me, I've sat down with my family and had an open heart-to-heart conversation and said, this is the current world, new world we're living in. And while I didn't have that template Sushil just shared, I really like that template. So I'm going to share that with the family. But we sat down and created a list of things that the kids can do each day, which space I'm going to work from, what time to allocate, family time, no technology. So we sort of created this co-created, you heard the word co-create and collaborate. This is the time to co-create and collaborate with your family members. sit down and have an open heart-to-heart conversation about this new world we're living in and co-create this with his family. It's not your decision. It's not their decision. It's a collective, collaborative decision as a family. So that's my personal experience, and I encourage you to consider that with your family. Go ahead, Sushil.
I just bought this book. Please see this. I've just bought this book because I myself get distracted a lot. And I've worked on it for the last 2 years. I think I've made 30-40% improvement. There's still a lot more to do. So do meditation, do exercises. There's one very simple exercise. When you get on to work, do this exercise, put your 2 thumbs like this in front and without, focus on the left one and move this without moving your eyeballs and see how long can you see this thumb. Go back and repeat. This is a concentration exercise. Just do this before you start work. You will not get distracted.
Great, Sushil. There are lots of questions on the chat. So what I'm going to share is that, we're going to review all the questions that are asked now and even later. We'll create a LinkedIn post and there will be an interaction between our speakers.
Can I ask a question?
Please go ahead.
Okay, I am Vardharajan. I am from Chennai, and I am a trainer consultant for corporates and colleges. We all have a few days of, as Brigadier says, a few hours for today to be with our family and introspect and do things differently, etc. But this will pass. This will go off, and again we'll be back to square one. We'll be back to the regular way of life and lifestyle, which is again not a very good thing to have in the long run. How do we learn from this and from this period and then extrapolate or extend to a longer period of time so that we can change over a period of time? Thank you.
Thank you. When I said that just do it for a week, so probably I couldn't elaborate on that enough because of the time constraint. See, what I'm going to do for myself, this 1 week is a test. Make that template, try it out for a week, put all your priorities, say where you found yourself lacking. Say if the family was not happy with 10%, they want 15%. Find if your team wants more of your time or your clients want more of your time. So, adjust. And if we do this for 2-3 weeks, I think we will get used to operating in an environment like this. And I personally feel, because of lots of webinars and all I've attended in the last 1 week, and lots of mails are coming in, the future looks like it'll be different. And this will be a very good exercise if it doesn't get used in the future, but it'll train us to be disciplined, to be able to prioritize, to get into focus. Thank you.
Thank you, Brigadier. Thank you.
Thank you, Brigadier Sushil. As I said, if you have further questions, you can type them on the chat and Brigadier will review them and respond to them on LinkedIn or independently.
And also in the email, I think we'll send out an email so that everyone will get to learn from everyone's questions. And it's not only that your question gets answered. So all questions with all answers, we'll do them in about 36 hours and send them to you.
Great. Thank you, Brigadier. On behalf of everyone.
Sorry to interrupt. Sorry, I'm not getting the chat screen. Sorry to.
On your bottom of the screen, you will find a small little thing with 3 dots called chat.
Okay, friends, I think it must be because you must be on the mobile. On the mobile, you will not be able to see the chat separately.
Even on the mobile, you can see the chat screen.
Yeah, there are these notifications.
Brigadier, we need to move on now. So,
yeah, please, yeah.
So if you can make sure. Great. So thanks, Brigadier, for your valuable insights and the Q&A session. And on behalf of everyone on the chat, big round of applause and thank you. I'd like to now invite Harish Mehta, who's also an author and coach, to share his valuable insights from his experience. He's traveled the world, worked with speakers like John Maxwell, Marshall Goldsmith, and numerous others. So I'd like to hear his insights in how best we can, as leaders, use our valuable time that we have been gifted currently to make a difference in our future. Over to you, Harish. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining in. 15 days back, 7th of March 2020, I was in Cochin addressing a gathering of 270 people. Did I know then that I will not be speaking to people on stage for some time or for a long period of time? Changes have come to each one of us, and they will keep coming. Today, as I speak to all of you here, I have got some messages to give. And I promise you two things. During this 30 minutes that I'm going to speak to you, A, I will change the way you think, I will change the way you listen, and I will change the way you do. Do you permit me to be your teacher, to inspire you, to motivate you, to influence you and educate you? The way you have shaped yourself, and I have seen in the last 15 days, today, the same audience, but on a screen. I cannot touch and feel, I cannot see them in the eye. And I am going to promise them more. I want each one of you listening to me today, take out your diary, your notebook. I'm going to give you some lessons to shift from who you are to who you can become in times to come. And this is not going to be a short time. A new norm is going to be created in leadership in the history of the world. And you all know, today evening, we all are going to change. For those 5 minutes, the world is going to look at us when each one of us is going to be clapping. When each one of us is going to be there and sharing how we are going to address the world. So my promise to you today is change. Change the way you look at yourself, and I see myself changing and giving this webinar today. And I have lined up 3 webinars during the week. I am so very grateful that I can sit at home and teach the world. The world needs to know more and how the world is coming closer. As I see myself today, the whole building, we are together. We are all together in exchanging our thoughts and helping each other. So what I want you to note down today is the formula for change. The formula for change is dissatisfaction multiplied by vision plus first steps should be greater than resistance. What we need to do is not to resist change, to accept change. Not to resist change, but to accept change. I want to ask you a couple of questions now. Ask yourself, how many of you have still persisted and continue to have a negative mindset? My topic for the day is mindset. You know, the mind has been set for so many years. As long as you have been there, you have formed a couple of habits.
Start video, nahi stop video.
The way you speak, the way you listen, and the way you do. Change the way you think and change the way you listen. Why? What you did not do 10 days back, you're doing today. You're accepting everything that is coming to you. Is that not letting go resistance? Is that not coming together and bringing a new norm? Are we looking at ourselves to inspire not only ourselves, the family, and the business or the industry that you run? What is different today? I want to share with you the communication which has changed. We would never communicate so much with each other. Today, each one of us is sharing. And how did this happen? 3 days back, our Prime Minister took the onus on himself to spread the message to his countrymen, to spread the message to the world, that together we can bring prosperity, together we can bring wellness, together we can change the world. And look at the environment which has shifted. The last 3 days, the negativity has been rooted out of many minds. But still, self-doubt remains in a lot of people. And some people are making fun. Let them be. Let them be. Those people will exist. But what I want to give a message to you is change. Do not resist change. 2, how many of you believe in yourself? How many of you believe in yourself? The more you believe, the more you achieve. Why I say this is, I don't know, most of you know me, but most of you have not heard me speak my 90 minutes, my 180 minutes, and today I'm speaking to you those 30 minutes, squeezing my talk, not able to share what I do in those 9 hours, in those 6 hours, in those 3 hours. But I will surely say, the moment you say to yourself, I believe in myself, I am confident, I am unstoppable, and I am going to change the world. All this is eliminating what? Do you know that? Fear. Everything is today about fear, and we are all living our fears. What's going to happen tomorrow? What's going to happen the day after? Why are you not living the now? How many of you live the now, plan your now, and plan your today? Live the way you want to live. I'm sorry to say we are either living in yesterday or we are worrying about tomorrow. So I want you to remove some toxins from you. I want you to note down these toxins which you are carrying for so long. Promise yourself today. I repeat, promise yourself today to stop complaining. I love this word. Number 1, promise yourself to stop complaining. Number 2, practice this for a week and move to stop criticizing. Practice this for a week and move to stop gossiping. Practice this for a week and then move to stop worrying. And finally, what people suffer in leadership today is all about procrastinating. We procrastinate so much that we have little time to take decisions. So when you let go these toxins from you, you remove self-doubt, you remove negativity, you remove negative people from your life, you see the shift that's going to come into you. What do you say? I am confident, I am unstoppable, and I am fearless. And finally, you will say, I am the best. So this shift is the mindset shift from a scarcity mind to an abundant mind. What it takes is you to believe. Yes, to believe in yourself that you can do it. You belong there and you will remain there and change the people around you. I mean it. 7 years back, when I started on this journey, I did not know that I will reach where I am. Today I know where I will go for the next 30 years and how I'm going to change the people around me. And mind you, it's all here and here. The heart and the mind needs to be in sync. And when you believe in yourself, I promise you, it's all about what you speak, how you speak, when you speak, and when you shut up. Most of this happens in leadership today. We do not listen. We do not listen to people, whereas we want to speak what we have in mind. So I need to give you some things which will last for you, which will be with you for long. And what is it? A, what you think is what you become. The moment you start thinking good, you become good. And the moment you start thinking bad, you become bad. The words you choose define you. The thoughts you stitch is what comes into action. And the results you get is all about what you created in your mind. So I want each one of you to believe, to do what you want. And how many of you in this room sitting know what you want? Do each one of you sitting in this room know what you want? Have you written down, like Brigadier said, those goals, those actions which you need to take on a daily, hourly, minute-wise basis to create value for yourself and to create value for people around you? Leadership is all about taking action, taking decisions, and create a following who love you, who like you, and find you the most likable person. So ask yourself, people in the room, how many people like you? How many people like you the way you speak, what you speak, what you give them, and what you receive from them? You know, it's a great feeling when the pre-PM said, let's give to our people who are unable to get all that. Let's pay our wages to those people. It has shaken the whole world, you know. I know most of the business owners would have asked them to stay at home and say, we will pay only when you come. Why? Why do we think that way? Can you ask yourself that what will your driver, your maidservant, or those people who are not going to be serving you for 3 days or 30 days or 300 days? You never know. That uncertainty has to be certainty in your mind. Each one of you sitting here as a leader would love to take these people along and see to it that he is in a position to serve those people for the rest of his life. They have served you all these years, and today, when they need you, where are you? So look at yourself, leaders. Your employees, they need you more today than they needed you ever. And I have some things to share with you, and I want each one of you to note down before I keep speaking and my time is over. So remember, real change requires a strong and continued commitment. Real change requires a strong and continued commitment. And you have noted down these 5 toxins which I gave you. Promise yourself from today, either you leave them all together or you leave them one by one. The new norm is going to change you. I promise you. I had done 600 seminars addressing maybe 60,000 people worldwide and within India. It has never come to me that I'm addressing 200 people in a room in front of a TV screen, and I'm still more alive. You can see the way I speak. I am not a PPT guy. I speak from my heart. I speak from my mind. And the topics that I want you to look at is believe in yourself. Change the way you listen. Change the way you do. And remember, each one of you has to take this back home. Why do you do what you do? And what do you need to do to change yourself and create that environment of change. Remember my favorite line, which I say, it's in your moments of decision that you design your destiny. Yes, it's in your moment of decision that you design your destiny. Today, I want each one of you to commit, to conceive and believe that you will change yourself first and the people around you, your family, the people you work with, the people you lead, the people you serve. They should give you respect. And it all starts by learning the 5 R's. Let go resistance, get respect, be relevant 24/7, get recognition, and build a reputation that people remember you for years to come. I have lots to share, and I must confess that adversity, today I received this from John Maxwell, my guru. Adversity is prosperity to those. Adversity is prosperity to those who possess a great attitude. Who possess a great attitude. Look at your attitude, look at your approach, and change the way you do things, not only with yourself, but the people around you. And you see how you will create a movement of people who are happy, who are committed, and who want to do more. They need to be respected. Remember, each one of you need to listen to people. The moment you start listening and stop saying, I know, that shift comes in you. Please, please, please respect and start listening to them. How is your challenge today? You have never done that. I know. Today I'm unwiring you and I'm going to rewire you that this is the opportunity for you to create a new you. Disrupt is what I speak about. Dream, dare, and do. It's in your moments of decision that you dream, dare, and do. Today, let go the negativity in you and create an aura around you of abundance, of positivity, of liking, of joy, of sharing. And I must confess, this is a beautiful place to live in. I remember when I quit this place of scarcity 7 years back, I did not know. The friends I chose to leave who were 40 years with me overnight, you know why? Yes, they were sucking my energy. And today I have more energy than I had 8 years back. And I'm proud to say that each one of you has the potential. Each one of you can live there and each one of you can belong there. It's only to make that decision today. I am happy that you are listening to me today. And I've made a dent in the process of making you change and address. Do I need to think or I'm happy doing what I'm doing? I know when people say, I know. I also say, I know what you know. I also know what you don't know. Do you need to know what you don't know, or you're happy knowing what you know? Learning never stops. Remember, learning never stops. I am so motivated today to share this on this great day. The world is going to remember India and each one of you listening to this webinar. We have changed the mode. Instead of addressing in an auditorium where 500 people are there, today we are speaking to 300 people on the webinar. And this will be the new norm. When people ask me, how will I meet people? I said, I visited Los Angeles 7 years back, and my cousin used to be working for Boeing, and she used to have regular meetings on the webinar. That's the way they used to conduct their office. 7 people, 7 different locations in the world, and the meeting was on odd hours, odd timings, just because we don't let our creativity come in. Why does creativity not come in? Because you have so much of garbage in here. You have so much of bad and ugly. The way you think, the way you speak, and the way you treat people. I want each one of you, yes, to let go that today. Make that decision that you need to let go those areas which have been stopping you to show your true potential, to come out in the open and lead. And when you lead from within, with your heart and your mind together, people will join you. People will follow you, and they will only need to be treated with respect. And I must conclude now. I'm sure my time is going to come. I want leaders to note down, a leader's motives will always come through in how they, number one, communicate goals. Communicate goals. Number two, generate plans. Number three, make decisions. And number four, how do they deal with people? Remember, your leadership will come through in these four aspects. I repeat, today, choose to speak to everybody, be it family, be it business owners, be it your vendors, and give them that assurance that we are together in these times. And that thought itself will create a great ripple effect in the minds of those people. Remembering them today when they are going through hardships, physical, mental, and emotional. Remember, you all need to be physically fit, mentally fit, and emotionally fit. Your emotional level, your physical level, and your mental level decides who you will become. And those of you who choose to stay where you are, I'm happy to share. I am available to you and move you from a scarcity mindset to a abundant mindset. I live there. I promise you, there are a lot of people who live there. Let go the bad and the ugly. Choose to identify it today. Let go and throw it out in the open. I promise you, negative people, let them go. Negativity, let it go. Self-doubt, move to self-confidence. And what I want, you have never ever thought of letting go from people who have harmed you in life, who have been talking ill about you. What stops you from letting them go? Please let them go today. Make this decision that you need to let them go. I promise you, life from today and under these times is going to be great. And this could be a challenge here and here. Both the heart and the mind have to accept this challenge. And we as coaches, as mentors, are there to help all those people who are struggling to move to this zone in the mind. And that's what I want to share. Change the way you think, change the way you listen, and change the way you do. I promise you, there's so much to do in life. And today, I want you to make a decision. And the moment you get out of this room, carry these little nuggets which I shared with you and share it with people outside. I promise you, they will love this new path. They will love this new journey, and they will create a new destination. Once you create space here, I promise you, there's so much of creativity going to happen. I could never imagine that in 7 days' time, I would be speaking to 200 people, plus people, on a webinar, and with so much energy that I share in the room. I know, and I want you to remember, energy is everything, and everything is energy. Chant this 200 times and see how life changes. And my last piece before I leave and address your questions. When you get up in the morning, put your feet down and speak to yourself. I am confident, I am fearless. I am confident. I am fearless. I am unstoppable. And I am limitless. And finally, I am the best. I promise you, when you speak this, you will see that you have something special in you. You have greatness within you. And thank you very much for your time, for your listening. And I'm grateful to each one of you who have invested their time today in listening to both me and Sushil Bhasin. I have lots to share. I've got piles to share, and we'll come back again week on week, every week, by the week, same hour. I promise you. I leave that to my facilitator, my moderator, my friend, who we thought together of giving this to the people, Gautam Ganglani. To now, I hand over, and I thank you very much, and clapping you for being with me for these 20 odd minutes. Thank you, Gautam, and thank you everybody for being a part of this for the last 20 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Harish, for sharing your insights and experience with everyone on the webinar. In respect of the time and the questions, I think we're going to basically move this conversation on to online. We will share an email with each of you. Online. We'll share an email with you within today itself with a link, and then further question and answers can happen on that session on the LinkedIn post. And if you have any further questions for Harish or Sushil, you can ask them directly on the chat or even on LinkedIn. They'll be more than happy to provide valuable answers to any questions you may have. On behalf of
Gautam, I have a request. I would like to give pro bono 30 minutes to first 20 people. And I would like to share my wisdom, my knowledge with them. They can speak to you, book their time, and I'm happy to share. And I also give a gift when I speak across the globe, across the world. I want to give that gift to you today, and I would send it over to you. And this is what I talk about. I promise myself those 15, because I'm a law of attraction trainer. In life, you attract more of what you want and less of what you don't want, because you know what you want, and you attract in life what you know what you want. So I want to give this gift to all those people who have registered and participated and are online, and I'm happy to share with them that life is too good. Do not be ordinary. Remain positive and build yourself to lead not only today, but in all times to come, and all adversities, take them in your stride and move ahead. Love you all. Thank you all. And thank you for being with me.
Thank you, Harish. So in summary, Sushil has shared a link which is there for all of you to download. We'll also share his presentation and many requests for that chart that he had. So we will share that either through the link or an email coming out. As Harish mentioned, he also has something he'd like to share with all of you. We'll include that link in the email. And anybody interested in the coaching session, complimentary with Harish for 30 minutes, whoever said yes, we'll alert them and connect them to Harish from the chat. Thank you. Right Selection will be hosting an ongoing series of webinars, absolutely complimentary, is our way of giving back during this challenging, difficult time. We want to ensure that your time is. We provide you great talent. We have two speakers. One is Indraneel Chakrabarti, who will be sharing with you the value of business storytelling. And then we have an international speaker, Gunther from the US, who will be sharing 3 things you must know about immunization in the pandemic era. So as an organization, we're connected to industry experts, both in India and globally. So feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. If you have any topics that you'd like to hear in the coming weeks ahead. What we want to do is provide you high value content based on today's needs, keep you inspired, positive, and looking at the bright future ahead, and to use this time to learn and strengthen ourselves for a better future. On behalf of Sushil, Harish, and myself, thank you for being with us today. We look forward to staying closely connected with each one of you and staying closely connected. God bless each of us, and look forward to this today's at 5 p.m. where we'll all be on the balconies, making a lot of noise in honor and respect of the doctors, nurses, and all those who are taking care of the current situation. God bless each of you. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Gautam. Thank you, Harish, for an excellent session.
I am blessed.
Really loved listening to Mr. Harish. Thank you very much.
I am blessed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Please join
Yeah,
me.
thank you so much.
Join me at 8 o'clock for a party.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you,
Brigadier Bhasin and Gautam.
Thank you, sir.
Catch you later.
Thank you for coming in. Thank you for your time. Value you.
Thank you for your time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.